Dujas.
And we're back. Welcome to Two Dudes and a Mexican. I'm your host, Peter Soprano. To my right is the resident Mexican, David Quinones.
Órale, mi gente.
To my left, D-Money Drizzy Dre.
What's going on, people?
And we are once again live from Bogies here every Wednesday. Come down, good food, good fun, good drinks.
Trivia
and
night?
it's trivia night.
That's it, baby.
And we went a lot on trivia night. So
Yeah. We gotta win it tonight.
My God.
So come down here and try to challenge
really
us.
suck, man. You guys really suck.
Yeah, what are you talking about, yo?
man?
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna help you guys out tonight.
Oh my gosh, yo, just you know what?
$8 bottle wine. Wednesday.
$8 bottle of wine.
Can't go
Can't
wrong.
go wrong. I
You
mean,
really can't
popping
beat that.
bottles, baby. We
Yeah,
popping bottles.
it's always a
Popping
fun
bottles every Wednesday
time.
night.
Always a fun time. Come down, get some wine, some food, and get beat by us in
What they
trivia.
got here?
Give me
They got here Thursday, Trap Thursday?
That's right,
That's what they
yeah,
got here?
Trap Thursdays.
Trap
yeah.
Thursday here?
Trap Thursday.
They got the DJ here?
But
Great
listen.
DJ, by the way.
Good DJ.
First of all, we have to start with what the big news of everywhere is now. Coronavirus seems to be canceling everything. It seems to be either everything is getting canceled or you're going to be watching games without fans. And probably about an hour or two before now, we find out that the NCAA tournament, March Madness, will be without fans, which is just unbelievable to me that March Madness, the place where so many people go to, 50,000 people in every arena, and it's like 8 arenas, 12 arenas every year, and it's going to be empty this year. What are your thoughts on that, Dre?
As mind-boggling as that is, I understand why it's happening. I mean, I would hope everybody understands why it's happening. I know there's a lot of, diehard fans, whatever sport it is that you're watching.
People pay for plane tickets, man.
100%. You got the consumers that are flying out, buying the product, season tickets, whatever it is for whatever sports. But looking at it from a health standpoint, you got to look at these athletes. You got to protect them, and more importantly, you got to protect the fans that are paying to fly out and watch this. At the end of the day, it's all a safety precaution. So for that, I do understand, but it is weird. It is just weird watching these games, empty arenas, and
now, Dave,
Wow.
do you think they did the right decision here by deciding to say no fans at the games?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I mean, it sucks, obviously, to envision a March Madness outright without fans.
Gonna be hearing a lot of sneakers.
So yeah, I know, right? I mean, I hope they're playing like music or something like that. You know what I'm saying? In these arenas, but I mean, listen, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So I could see why they're doing this. I could see why. Listen, MLB. The NBA might follow suit. Who knows? Where these games are going to be played now. When you're talking about each respective sport,
Golden State has already said they're not going to play in front. They're not going to play in front of fans, and that was more of a city and state, not state, but citywide thing. And San Francisco said that they banned all events that are over 1,000
so
people.
it's a city thing, right? Because I was going
they
to ask.
They did it for the
But
city.
they are allowing the media.
Yes.
Well, essential personnel. Essential personnel.
Yeah,
So the media, I think they were saying that they were still trying to, I think, decide if they're, in quotations, essential personnel. Most likely,
They'll
they
let them
probably
in.
will let them in.
Like
They'll
the
let them
tournament is going to be media.
Yeah. Well, the announcers, obviously.
yeah.
You need the announcers,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So I think families, too, like close family members.
Yeah,
I think maybe.
it said family members and it said student athletes will be allowed, but up to a certain limit.
That's crazy, man.
It's just going to be crazy that you're not going to have the usual crazy crowds. Like on an upset, it's going to be quiet on an upset. You'll hear everybody on the bench cheering, but not much people other than that.
I mean, but listen, I think with the political pressure, the public pressure, it coming down. Obviously, schools are being closed. I think there was a charter school in Westchester that they were saying is closed for the whole year.
They canceled the whole Ivy League.
It's crazy. So I mean, I could see why they're taking the precaution. They're just trying to be safe. They don't want to make it worse because if they do hold these games, they allow people to come. Then what if this virus starts spreading? Now you have a really real big problem on your hands. Nobody's gonna take responsibility for that, and nobody even wants to be part of that.
Yeah.
Where you could have done something, you didn't, and then so they're doing something. So.
Right before we came on air, they said a player from Juventus actually contracted it, and He's obviously is going to be quarantined, so it's just
crazy.
it's crazy that now when you start seeing if we've seen that in soccer, imagine when the first basketball player comes out.
I was
all
going to
that
say
stuff,
once it starts hitting the athletes, forget it.
Because
that's
listen,
when it's really really serious.
And Richard Jefferson said the same thing. Richard Jefferson said the same thing that, especially at NBA, and you see this in football too. If one person has the flu, then you're going to see like 7-8 people catch the flu because they're so close together, they're practicing together, they're sweating in the same locker room, and it's very easy to transmit that type of stuff. So once you see one athlete catching it, it's going to spread widespread over the entire league. And even the large events like Dre, WrestleMania is now in doubt. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think they should cancel WrestleMania, and do you think they will?
Cancel it?
Cancel, yeah. Cancel, postpone.
Okay, there you go. Postpone.
Cancel it.
As of right now, I'm not sure. Because if I say yeah, then well, again, the whole point of this thing going on is the unknown, which is freaking a lot of people out. They did make a good point that their concern is that there is a lot of international people flying out to watch this event, especially this event, because WrestleMania is a worldwide. Yeah.
They've had events in Saudi Arabia. They have events everywhere.
So now you got people coming from Italy, Europe, all over the world, and obviously that could be a problem because it's hard to detect this type of stuff with thousands and thousands of people coming along. And like I said, their main concern, especially their talent. We're talking about talent that travel every day across the country. They're at such a high risk, to be exposed to this type of, to this type of virus that could be dangerous. Do I think they should postpone it? Most likely, yeah. Now that was going to lead up to a question that I have, and I'm going to start with you, Dave. Do you think that this, for example, let's say Golden State holding an empty arena, do you think that's going to create a domino effect for other teams to do the same as well?
I think so. I mean, listen,
tomorrow.
I think one team, that's all you need. One team starts doing it, everybody's going to follow suit. So these owners talk, right? The league talks. Players talk. Obviously, you saw everybody was talking about LeBron James. Him. At first saying one thing, then taking it back.
He had to clear the air.
Yeah, he had to clear the air, but that just goes to show you. So listen, whatever the league decides, whatever the owners decide, it's going to go. So again, I once one team does it, I think all the other teams are going to follow suit. So they're going to have to. I mean, there's no other way you can do it.
And you got to keep in mind, too, that, obviously the cities and how those cities and states are being affected because obviously, luckily this isn't a nationwide at the moment, but
getting there.
But it is getting there.
It'll eventually get there. I mean, there's no way, you can, quarantine something like this, a virus like this when, you'd have to, not let people back into the country who are, traveling internationally. And that doesn't even matter anyways now because it's here already. It's here in the country.
To pretty much stop it and calm it down, they'll have to pretty much do what Italy did and pretty much lock down all borders. That's pretty much.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah,
it's just tough. Right now, obviously, this is something new too. But listen, we've had diseases before. I mean, you had Ebola. You had SARS. Influenza, SARS. AIDS. Back in the day, you had what was it? Chicken pox and all that stuff. They killed people off. Listen, we'll get through this. We'll get through this as a civilization.
Plague.
So it'll just take some time and. Obviously, the media doesn't help because, obviously the media puts things out there.
Oh, God.
People go crazy, going to supermarkets and buying all the toilet paper.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. There's no in between. You're either going to be super panicked about it or you're super, we don't care about it. So that's the biggest problem with it, But let's cut that shit off.
Let's move on, gentlemen.
With that said, even if they aren't going to have any fans at most of these games, they are going to be playing the conference tournaments that have started already. They started as of yesterday.
All right. It's fake, right? It's fake.
They started as of yesterday. Listen, we want me to talk more about WrestleMania. But listen, ACC tournament. It's going to be a great tournament. Obviously, we have a Duke fan, and then we have somebody that seems to be a growing Duke fan in the place. But Dave, I'll let you start since I mentioned you just now. Since I already mentioned you, ACC tournament. I know you picked Duke to go to the Final Four. Are you also picking them to win the ACC tournament, or do you think somebody else going to upset them?
No. I think they're going to win it. Listen, I know it's been a little rough road for Duke, but listen, this is why Trey Jones came back, baby.
Fuck that guy. That bum.
Number 9 in the country.
I think. Listen, this is the reason why he came back.
He came back because he sucked. That's why.
Listen, what does Coach K say? We own March.
Oh, come on.
We'll see, baby. We'll see. So I'm going with Duke on this one.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna slide over to Dre. Dre, what's your pick to win the conference tournament?
For the ACC, I'm gonna have to go with Duke on this one as well.
Let's go, everybody, man.
Everybody. What do you guys do?
North Carolina sucked this year too. So they're under 500. But this is unbelievable. So listen, I'm gonna go with Virginia. Virginia has proven that they can win a championship. They have the championship experience. They've won 8 in a row. And their style is very hard to play against because they play good defense and they're very awkward on offense.
They're not the same team, baby.
They get hot this time of year. I mean, that's not a bad pick.
They're tough to play against. I mean, as long as they're...
Who you said?
It's Virginia. Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Listen, let's move on to the Big Ten. And no, I'm not going to pick Michigan, even though that's my team. I won't be a homer like others, but let's go. Dre, who do you think is going to win the Big Ten?
I like Wisconsin in this one. I think they're going to go away with the Big Ten.
All right, so Dave's usually the Big Ten master from football, so he tried to pick like 4 teams to be in the college football championship.
That's right, baby. I like it. I like
since this is your specialized conference, who do you pick to win this?
MSU, baby. MSU.
Really?
Listen, I said it already. Listen,
I'm a Michigan fan. Screw them too, yeah.
I know. You said that last week. Listen, yeah. I think they pull it off. A story like Cassius Winston's. I mean, I
hate that guy.
Jesus, what the hell? Everything I say, it's like I hate that guy. I mean, that last game was emotional for him. Listen, I think they carry that emotion. The team, he does. Listen, Coach Izzo. I mean. You gotta love him, man. So
no, you don't gotta love him.
I love March.
No, you don't.
I love March. I know you don't.
Oh
He's
my God!
But listen,
I
think Michigan State.
Listen,
I think MSU takes it. So.
I'm gonna actually agree with Dre, and I say Wisconsin. Wisconsin's on a winning streak. They're also very awkward and hard to play against. I'm not gonna pick Rutgers, producer. So it's all right. You don't have to worry about that part.
They were celebrating when they won last week.
They're gonna make the tournament. But listen, if Rutgers made it far, I'll be all for it. I'll be very happy that they make it far. But I just don't know if they're gonna get that far. But with that said, moving on to the next conference, the Big 12. It's pretty much been a 2-team race between Kansas and Baylor. I know you like both of those teams. Who do you pick?
Kansas.
Going with Kansas?
Yeah. Best 2 tandem in the league. Best 2 tandem in the country. I think they keep rolling.
Are you really doing the hook 'em horns?
Baylor's looking for that big win because they kind of it's been rough for them, so far. So I mean, obviously, they're waiting for that chance, to go against Kansas on this one. But I think Kansas. I think they're too strong, man.
I agree with you.
I really do. So.
I agree. I think if it was, like I said, in the big tournament, you're going to have to face 3-4 multiple good teams. And this one, they aren't going to play anybody tough till they meet in the finals. So you pretty much just got to win one game. So in this one, I say Kansas will win. What do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I love Kansas in this one.
Texas Longhorns.
Texas
Did
Longhorns.
you like Baylor last week?
No.
Who were the 4 teams that picked for the Final Four last year?
I could have sworn you said Baylor.
I never said Baylor.
Somebody said Baylor. I thought somebody said
Total
Baylor.
tape.
Uh-oh.
I did not say Baylor.
All right.
Somebody said Baylor.
I thought you went back to
somebody
the
said Baylor.
I could have sworn it was Dre.
We're going to have to figure that out. But
Stay tuned, guys. We'll announce that via Twitter. In an hour.
Who said it? Who said it? All right.
Said it.
Next to the broken down Big East, as it doesn't have the Syracuse, doesn't have the UConns, doesn't have the Georgetowns anymore, but they still are there. They're still a Big 6 conference. They're not in the Power 5, but they're Big 6. Who do you pick in the Big East, Trey?
Are we talking about the Big East?
Yeah.
The Big East? Villanova. I like Villanova in this one.
All right. I like Villanova also, but not to win the conference tournament. I'm actually going to pick. I'm going to pick Villanova to make the Final Four, but I'm not going to pick them because I like Creighton. I think Creighton wants this more than Villanova because Villanova has had championship experience. They don't have to push as hard, and they can rest. Like, the winner of this tournament is going to be playing on Saturday or Sunday in the weekend, going right into the tournament. You want to get that extra day or two rest, so I don't think they're going to push as hard to win it. And obviously, they have the experience of doing this previously. They know that they don't have to win this tournament to win March Madness, so I think they kind of cruise it a little bit. Dave, who do you think?
I agree with you, man. This one was a little tough for me just because I do like Villanova, but listen, I agree with you. I think Creighton wants
I'll go Creighton.
Yeah, listen, Villanova doesn't need this. So I agree with
valid
him.
point.
Don't sleep on Creighton. Creighton, I mean, they're a good team. So
Dougie Buckets. What?
The Bulldogs? Are they going for the Bulldogs?
No, ain't got no Bulldogs. Ain't got no Bulldogs.
What about the school that's named after me? Xavier. Nobody want to go for that one?
Oh my gosh. My boy went to Xavier, so he's definitely rooting for them, but I'm not picking them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott. Let's move on to the West Coast, Pac-12. I think it's wide open. I think you could literally pick any of the top 8 and just say, you know what, and they have a legitimate chance to win it.
That's
so,
true.
With that said, who are you picking, Dave?
I'm going to pick somebody kind of at the dark.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to go on this one, UCLA.
Listen,
I like how they look right now. They're really emerging as a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
So I know
Your number
people
one
are
fan
not.
smoke weed.
I'm going to pick UCLA on this one.
All right. Dre, what do you think? Who are you picking out of?
If people were tuning into two dudes, I mean, if people were tuning into Peach
Oh, we're
Corner,
going to do this again.
if people were tuning
We're
into
going to do this
Peach
again.
Corner,
I had my one mistake. I called Pete's Corner 2 dudes.
Hey,
or
listen,
whatever.
the
one
it's
mistake.
It's not often that Pete makes a mistake like that. So
I have one mistake a year.
I got to bust his chops for this for the rest of the night. But I am agreeing with you, Dave. I do like UCLA in this one.
Oh, all right. So,
Baby?
Wildcats, I got to pick, I will be picking the Arizona Wildcats. I am actually going with them.
Is that one for for Vic? Is that it?
No. They're all right. Like I said, they got a point guard that's going to be drafted in the top 10, 15 picks of the draft. Nico is a freshman, but he's getting better, and he has a lot of talent. I think he's going to lead them through this tournament because, like I said, it's wide open. So if it's wide open, I'm going to pick the player on the team that I think probably has the most talent to go that far. So I'm going to go with them. Moving on to the final conference of the Big Six, SEC. I don't think there's any dominant teams in the SEC this year. It's usually been one of those conferences that they'll get in, they win a round or two, and they usually get knocked out, except for one team. I'm picking that team, Kentucky. As I said last week, they're one of the teams filled with freshmen and sophomore. They get better as the year goes on.
Just solid.
And they always seem to be there at the end, especially in the SEC tournament, because they're getting better as they go along. What do you think, Dre?
Yeah, same. I'm rolling with Kentucky in this one. I'll take
Yeah,
the
Dre?
SEC, yep.
Dave?
I agree, guys. Unanimous. I
Yeah,
go with
this is
Kentucky as well. So
Who do you got, producer?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Duke. He said Duke.
He's picking Duke in every single conference. Like, it's not going to work that way.
Duke or Gonzalez?
Gonzalez. They're not talking about Gonzaga, man.
Nobody's talking about that anymore.
Gonzaga is the biggest disappointment in college basketball. They went from the underdogs to a team that, now they're good. They're supposed to be in the top 5 every year, and they never make it to the championship. So I don't want to hear anything from Gonzaga. But with that said, those were our picks for the Big Six conferences. There's going to be a lot of March Madness, even though it may not be too much madness with no fans in the crowd. But listen, go out there and watch the games this week. They started yesterday. There wasn't no update on the Arizona game. I got to make sure my team get knocked out.
They were winning.
They were winning. They can't get knocked out the first night. They got to. They got to win and survive.
We can't have it.
But with that said, we will be with you again next week. We'll be giving you our Sweet 16 picks.
They're by 10 right now. 5 minutes left. So
see, that's why I told you to pick them. That's what I'm talking about. So Arizona, let's go. Let's go. But
65-57 Arizona.
All right, cool. All right, so they won't get knocked out tonight. We good. So next week we're gonna give you our Sweet 16 picks, as March Madness will start the day after on Thursday. So there's gonna be a lot of picks coming. Kentucky is not gonna lose. Kentucky should get a bye into the next round. But once again, join us next week at Bogey. We'll be once again here from Bogey's. And we are out, guys.
Peace.